Hello, welcome back to my sketchbook. Today, I really want to improve at drawing hair, so the best way to do it is to draw hair. So let's jump into the sketchbook, find me some references, and let's draw some hair. Well, that's new and helpful. So I searched hair on Pinterest, and there's this new little block called skin tone, and when you click it, the reflections, you can actually choose from these four. Is there four? Yeah. Well, no, not me. You can actually choose from 4 different groups of skin tones. So we'll have to do some from each. That's actually really cool. Wow. The hair type that I have the most difficulty drawing is the one with texture but not a lot of shape. Let me explain myself. So I just kind of draw in shoulders and a head. The hair type that I find the easiest to draw is just straight hair, because you just use some nice straight lines like that. The hair type I'm talking about that I find difficult is sort of wavy with some texture. What I usually end up doing is just doing something like this. And while I like how cute and stylized that is, sometimes it doesn't suit the amount of detail that I'm looking for. So something I would like to improve with is, kick that up a notch. Basically, I think this is a good starting point. I need to figure out what it's missing to level up in a way. So I think using some references would be helpful. Oh, and this is a whole nother thing that I haven't even tackled yet. I want wavy hair, I think is what I'm trying to say. It's something I draw a lot, but I just feel like it's missing something. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way that it falls around the face. So I'm gonna try this one. I kind of look like I know what I'm doing. Wait a minute. Okay, but here, maybe if I follow the lines I've made. Maybe it just comes down to being lazy about this one. I'm not really having a good job proving my point here. Well, I guess that actually works pretty well. This reference is kind of handy. Let me try one from a different angle and see if I kind of have more of a grasp on this than I thought I did. Actually, all this hair is kind of in front of the face, at least the way I drew it. Start with our simpler shapes and blobs, that I like to call them. Here's where I would normally kind of stop. And sometimes that's good enough, but let's try and do what I did there and see if it implements all right. Basically, it's extra kind of wavy and furled here. This all comes around. Here's where this is it. Okay. When drawing wavy hair, you can kind of finagle it for a while, and like you just use those swooshes. It looks hair-like, but here's where it just doesn't quite make sense. And I'm basically doing the same thing I've done everywhere else, so that's where I get confused. There's a section of hair here that is moving to the bottom left, and it kind of smooshes out a bit. And then we have this piece that, if this is that same piece of hair, it doesn't connect right. It just doesn't make sense. It's almost like that hair needs to come from here. So if you think of it more like a ribbon, it's gonna bend and flow, and you have the big flat piece of the ribbon, and as it curls, it kind of shrinks up, and then it's gonna open up again. So that actually, I could probably do what I learned there and fix up here too. These sections need to connect. So now it's got a bit more of a coil to it. But it looks pretty good, so let me just continue that using my shapes and my reference. Let's see if we can't figure this out. So if this section shrinks down to a point, then there'd be a section coming out from that then gets larger and shrinks down to a point. I am not explaining anything very well, and most of it is just because I don't even know what I'm doing. So basically I'm taking sort of diamond shapes, not overlapping them too much, creating diamond shapes that come out from that diamond shape. And at the end, the diamond shape kind of comes to a squared edge to kind of imitate the end of the hair. I think from here, I can just add strands of hair coming out from the diamond and then going back in. Oh, no. They can come from the center of the top of the diamond, but at the bottom, they should end at one of the square edges, because it's the hair curling around it. Again, like sort of the ribbon idea. At least this works for wavy hair. I don't know if this works for anything else. I'm going to add a little bit of shading to kind of define those sections we found earlier, because they're getting a little lost, but texture is what I was asking for, and I'm getting that. So there can be sections that don't really make sense just to fill it in, because hair is very organic and wobbly, and it fills in the gaps. Sometimes it just does what it wants. I think you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it'll just be a piece that just kind of like... and you can't do anything about it. Excuse me while I just finish this face. How I'm seeing these shapes are you have diamond, and that comes off from like the scalp. Pretend that's the part of the hair. This is like the first wave. And so you would take from the part and connect into the wave. And then from that wave, it kind of comes off like as so. You have another diamond and then another diamond. Kind of like you're doing some kind of braid. Obviously this is a certain amount of wave. This is like curling your hair with a curling iron wave. So from here, I'm going to take the top of the diamond, connect to the side, and then from here, this is the underside of our ribbon, basically. It's gonna connect. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, that's correct. I thought I wanted to go the opposite direction, but no, this under little section is the part that's going the opposite direction. So we should repeat the same shape here, and then the same thing here. So move that diamond over and repeat it. That's how you get like the wave, because if you were to do it the opposite direction, it would look more like a braid, I think. And then to end it off, you just finish with more of a blunt edge. You can add a little bit of shading at the top and bottom of each of those. Kind of give a wavy thing. Ooh, wait! Another thing. That first diamond, I'm just connecting it straight up to the top of the part. So this hair section's coming underneath, and then this all starts like that. Ooh, okay. It's clicking in my head. So then when you add more strands of hair, or more clumps of hair, I guess, you're just gonna make sure that you don't overlap too many diamonds. And you can, if you want a more natural look, flip them. So then have it come from this and go to that way. Or if you want to look more like a curling iron, you'll just continue those exact same shapes over and over again, all around. I think the biggest thing just for drawing hair is to start simple and not worry about the strands, which is why the diamond technique's kind of helping me. And it's the same way I kind of approach anything. So like with a person, I keep it with simple shapes. Figure out where everything goes before I start breaking in and chiseling away at some of the features. Like that. Let's kind of try and do a hair like that, but maybe less curly. Let me try and like straighten it out a bit. Add it so it's just like a light wave. There's so many different types of hair. It's impossible to get to all of them, but these are some that I remember struggling with. So this one, the part is like right above the eyebrow, and there's one piece of hair kind of comes down like this. The other side comes in front of the face and then behind a section of hair. And then from there, another section looks like it's coming out. To lighten the wave, you elongate these diamond shapes. Here's a diamond, here's a diamond. See how they're longer? They can probably overlap a little bit more. So add a little depth. Same thing back here. So then from here, now that we have those diamonds kind of put in place, I can start finding the hair strands within the shapes. I almost think these are still too defined. How do I break it up a bit more? Maybe adding a few hair strands without any of the defined diamonds. Spreading them out more might also help. Compared to that one, it just looks like more wet hair. Maybe just a little volume up on top will fix that. And a little bit of depth between the layers. Break it up, lose the ear. I do think that made a difference, but it still has a bit of like a messy look to it. Like it doesn't look quite defined enough. This is kind of what I was looking at. And mine just looks like it's more dirty hair, and this looks kind of lighter and cleaner. I don't know how to, so I want to like lift it up a bit. Maybe just an idea. I'm gonna lighten the sketch a bit and just round out those diamonds. I think that might help. Keep them longer because I don't want it to look like that, but like round them out a bit. Round it. And keep in mind the shapes. Maybe add some like ones that just kind of go wherever they want. Maybe add some like pieces that come out this way. Just some like flyaways and whatnot. Not terrible. I do think it might be an improvement if I can find the lines again. I'm thinking that my diamonds are still just too defined. Let me see. Let me try that same exact hairstyle. Straight on. Oh, that might be what it is. I have too many diamonds. If I look at this, there's the top section, one diamond, and then it opens. So we should be doing the same thing. So we have a top shape, a diamond, and then it should open up. That already looks better and I'm not even done. Let me give her a face. How do you even draw lips? That's not bad, I guess. If we go in and start refining this hair, hopefully we don't lose what made this look the way it does. Top section, 1 diamond, open up. Can I just fill in the gaps between that? Because too many diamonds definitely is too much. Vertically and horizontally. Horizontally and vertically. No, can't be yard day. Wasn't it yard day yesterday? Are they gone? Sorta? No. So while I do think this is an improvement, it's still like sloppy, and I think that's as far as I'm ever able to go. So let me try and push it. Don't need those ears again. Goodbye. Something I'm also noticing is that there's a lot less action going on at the top. If I lose some of the shapes up at the top, it kind of gives it a more naturally wavy kind of look. Because what I'm seeing in the reference is that there is a lot of flat sections in this hairstyle. So I think I need to lose some of the lines where the hair is kind of laying together. Since I want to limit the number of lines that I use while also being detailed, it doesn't make sense to draw all the lines where the hairs are lining up like this. The only times you need to draw them is when things like this are happening. See that hard edge right here? So to make it look a little less sloppy, I'm gonna remove all the lines at the top except where they're clashing, I ask. The same thing down here. I can use a line or two. I'm trying to keep it from being too overwhelming. And I think another thing with hair is that it is so flowy and loose and really hard to pin down. The more you try to define it, the less natural it's gonna look. You have to be very careful. Let those weird wobblies that you use to like sketch out the idea at the beginning be your guide. There we go. I'm pretty happy with this one. Maybe I need to let go and just let it not be super defined. And also just let it do what it wants. These are like tight curls that are falling out. This is like the humidity. You curled your hair, you walked outside, you looked in the mirror. Basically the curls are falling out. Although her hair also got shorter. That's some crazy humidity if it's trimming your hair at the same time. But yeah, this is much closer to what I'm looking for here. I think it all comes down to just using the lines when you need them and not being too overwhelming with it. Obviously, when you're doing a more complicated hairstyle, you're going to need more lines. But if you want looser hairstyles, it's almost like less lines is helpful. And still understanding a curl pattern, I think. All right, let's try a different hairstyle. Wow, okay. Try it on a different skin tone, see what we get. Right on cue. You know what? Short hair is tricky. Let's do this one. I'm gonna draw this directly from the reference. I find short hair very difficult. Some nice loose shapes to keep it flowy. Face goes here. Throw in the eyebrows. Well, this one will actually need the ear. Ooh, I gotta remember to be saving these references so I can share them with you. Well, at least from now on I'll have them. Alright, so this hair has some wave to it, but there's so little of it, I don't think we need like super guidelines like that. This might come down to just being loose and swishy with our line. So let me try that first. They cut in the grass. Basically, it looks like most of the curl pattern is visible at the front of the head. We'll draw some like squiggle shapes, some of this. So it's almost imitating this without the specificity. Make sure none of them overlap too much. I'm very separate. We'll add a little depth to some of the ones in the back. There looks like there's a part in the hair about here, and some of the hair goes this way. The rest comes a different direction. And actually, there's some that just kind of comes backwards too. Some back here. Ooh, I didn't even pay attention to the back. So the back of the head, I can see a shape right here. What's that, a pentagon? 1, 2, 3, 4, no. There's a shape here. So I can just go ahead and actually draw that in myself. Kind of like that. And then from here, it looks like the hair kind of comes backward. Adds a bit of a curl. That. And then all this hair is pretty short. It comes in front of the ear. Hey! Let me add a little bit of tone to this. Give it some contrast from the paper. Now these are supposed to be kind of tighter coils a little bit, so I'm adding in more lines in those shapes that we made earlier. Seems like the tighter you want it to look, the more lines you're gonna need. There's just a bunch of tiny sections. Almost like little bananas. That's gotta be some of the best short hair I've ever drawn. Finish up the face a little. Yeah, cute. Spending a little time on something makes it different. Now let me try. I'm gonna turn off this reference. I'm gonna try and do the same thing and see if stylizing it anymore makes a difference and if I'm actually retaining any of this knowledge. So So kind of draw it from the same angle maybe. I do this a lot when I'm doing studies on my own time, just to see if it's working and what I need to practice a little bit more. Now for the hair, I'd probably exaggerate it a little bit more because I like a more exaggerated look. I do want it to look a little bit more curly, so we're gonna need some more lines in here. Maybe round off some of these shapes. Add tone to the ones that are further in the distance. I really liked that shape, so I'm gonna find that again. I really like this piece that came in front of the ear too. The head ended up turning a little bit more just because I find it difficult to draw heads from this angle without that reference. This section comes up that way. And there's all those bananas. Basically it's a bunch of short hair curling backward, and then a bit more of it was covering the forehead. Just add an extra curl there. Oh my gosh, I like this. This has got to be the best short hair I've ever drawn. I've ever drawed. Okay, let's add some tone to it to just separate it from the rest of the skin tone and the paper. I don't remember what she was wearing, but here's a shirt. There we go. I think I'm getting somewhere. I still simplify it a little bit more, but I definitely don't want to like lose that either. I'm just trying to improve the way I do stylize stuff and make sure that it is based in reality and it's not super willy-nilly. Where I differed the most from this reference is that the hair was shorter and this side came down way further, so I'm going to bring that up the front of the ear. I like that better. There we go. Just kind of shortens the hair a smidge because the odds of someone having a long section right there are probably pretty slim. Okay, that might be my favorite sketch of the day. Ooh! Let's go back to our little references. Beep, beep. Any of these calling to me? Updos and stuff, that's like a whole nother beast. Let's switch to the next skin tone on here and see what comes up. Should we try to do this stuff that's like really light and curly? Like it's not thick coils. Yeah, this is definitely something I haven't done yet. These sort of like lighter, more natural coils, curly, wavy, whatnot. It's like this, but really tiny diamonds. See if that does me any good. That analogy. Adds a different angle. So the hair looks like it comes from here a lot. It kind of just bends outwards, or it comes backwards. And again, it is a little straighter at the top and gets curlier around here and kind of stays that curliness to the bottom. Draw in some diamonds and see where that gets us. Little tiny diamonds. Try to follow the flow of this chunk of hair I drew. Almost teardrops work better, like little teardroppy shapes. Fill in the little areas that don't have any diamonds, which actually become diamonds because that many diamonds next to each other creates littler diamonds in between them. It's not working, but let's use longer diamonds up at the top of the scalp. And then from there, turn into smaller diamonds. Or teardrops, whatever works best. There can be some that are looser than others, some that are bigger, it looks like. That helps it look a little bit more natural. Looking at the reference. Let me try something different on this side. Just drawing the curl section, one shape, and then adding in the diamonds from there. Ooh! Try that again, see if that wasn't just a fluke. Basically, they're super long, skinny diamonds. And I can have some coming different ways. This is how I would have just figured to draw hair originally. I was trying to like break it down into shapes to make it easier, but maybe I'm making it more difficult. With this technique, I can get like curlier at the bottom. It's essentially pretty similar. Let me go back over here where I've laid some groundwork. Now, my problem with just going in willy-nilly and adding lines is I get lost in there because there isn't a rhyme or reason to it. But maybe that is better when it comes to drawing hair. Definitely the most difficult so far. This is like a hairstyle I draw very often. So just by kicking it up a little bit of a notch, I think that's going to improve a lot of my drawings in the future. These are hairstyles I don't draw as often. So I'm starting at a bit more of a incline here. I lost the mouth and I can't find it again. Oh well. Some things were just never meant to be erased. I think I have all the curls going the same direction. So let me try and see if I can get my wrist to go the opposite. Oh, I'm doing this, so it needs to be like, oh, whoa, that's tricky. Ah! Can't say I feel pleased with these results. Let me try just do one from scratch. There's our character. Now if they have super curly hair, let me find another reference. Here's one that's more straight on. I think the trick is, well, not the trick, the difficulty is that I do want to simplify it. And this hair texture is just not very simple. Easy as that. So we're drawing the big shape first. You can't get much more simple than that. Actually, make sure that it's pretty wavy. And add a piece that goes in front of the hair. Cute! That was an aggressive cute. I want to keep this outside edge, which is probably the second step. I probably should have blocked it out. Let's just add little wavy hairs all the way down, following the flow of the other shape. Treat it like it's one big piece. Don't try to color in between. I just feel like there's some areas that are a little bit more curly than that. Just adding waves and then shading it like it's one piece. Maybe you just have to be consistent throughout. Change up the shapes, like the sizes of the coils. Do I like that better than this side where I drew in more hair strands? Hoping for a little bit more improvement than that. Okay, I just took a little step back and I like it. But I think it also just comes down to curly hair can be a little bit crazier and doesn't have to be quite as refined because that's not the way it works, you know? Let's try that last option. See if the last one actually comes with different results. Let's try drawing something more like this. Wait, I clicked on this. Ah, what am I doing? So this is a completely different texture. Squeeze it up here. If we need more room, I can turn the page. Try and draw it from the reference again, because that seems to do good for me. I mean, that's the point of having a reference after all, isn't it? I love when my sketches overlap like that. I don't know what it is. Woo! I like it. Okay. How big is your lawn? How big is your lawn? I really need to know. I really like this pose. I love the little like shoulder in front. I used to draw this pose a lot. So it's cool seeing an actual reference for it. I can keep playing with the face. Sans lawn work. Let's move on to the hair though, shall we? So the ear kind of just barely pokes out through the bottom. We also need to get the hairline right. These other hairstyles, the hair always kind of came forward. This one doesn't so much, so let's just kind of sketch in that hairline. I think it comes back a little more like this. Okay, and then we can use that as a guideline. We also need to sketch in this shape. It's going to be very textured on the outside. Looks like it comes this way. There we go. So then from here, start building up the shapes and the texture within it. So obviously it's not this straight line, so we can kind of go around the outside edge probably. Break up that edge. In the front, it's a little bit more looser. You can see a little bit more light through there. And there's gonna be extra bits that kind of like come up a little higher. Break up that line. Now within it, there's going to be all this is kind of happening again. Definitely different from any of the other ones we've done. Although you can take what we learned from this wait, what did I call it? This curl? Because all curls kind of act the same, you know? They do that, and this is just a very loose one, so that helps you visualize the tighter ones. And it creates almost a completely different shape. You can also add in some tone, separate the more distant sections. Again, I'm trying to simplify it, so I don't want to add too much going on in there. It's almost like I could probably get away with just this. Just, you know, add in the tone. This is not the right pencil for doing sideways. It doesn't really come out far enough. Do I have just like a regular pencil? There we go. That might be enough. I don't really see any reason to break it up anymore. I think we could just add some here and there. Make it look less like a one big shape. But in the end, we're simplifying this, so we don't need too much. What am I doing? This has nothing to do with hair. Anyway, let's do another one. It's a shorter hair. I think it's gonna have a very similar technique to this, just being shorter, but let me just try and make sure. I don't know why I love drawing right on the seam. I don't do it enough. Draw in the face. Gonna need that scalp. It's gonna be important. Figure that out before we go too far. I guess it's not so much the drawing on the seam that I like, but the way it looks afterwards when it's done. Because drawing on the seam is a little annoying because you're like, oh, shoot, hit something. The end result is worth it. Gotta get the proportions right. That's the key if you want to actually look like your reference. We're getting there. Let's try and find that hairline again. Probably should do this even when I'm drawing other hairstyles. So there's a lesson learned right there. Now, when it comes to adding in the hair, we have the scalp, which just comes down to adding the right proper texture. So essentially, all I should have to do is just sort of add the texture to the outside. That's what I assumed, but let me see if it works in practice. I think definitely getting the hairline right is going to be important. Looks like it dips a little right in the center. I would like to add something extra. Add the tone and then see if I need to add any more texture after that. I love the look of just pencil with the straight hatching. Ooh, that's why I'm an artist. Drawing on the center was maybe not the best idea now. Coming back to bite me. Just give her the same clothes I've given everyone else. I do want to try and add some texture. I'm thinking if I just maybe shaded it in with more circular motion, as much as I like that hatching. This isn't quite something I'll be able to emulate with certain art supplies, I don't think. For pencil, it should work. Now I'm adding shading. Look at me go. Almost looks like the model. Definitely more hair types and things I'd like to try in the future. I specifically tried to avoid any specific hairstyles like braids or updos or... Is there anything else in that? Twists? I specifically didn't want to focus on hairstyles that are more worked with because I find those easier to do just because there is more shape and texture to it. And this is more like repetitive texture is something that I have more trouble with. So this was a really good study and I'm glad I sat down and spent a little time on it. There's always room for improvement, but I'm happy with my progress. I feel like drawing the rest of this person's body. It's a model, so she should have some nice pose, right? Anyway, and yeah, I didn't draw any dudes because I just didn't feel like it. If you want to draw dudes, I encourage you to do that. Male hairstyles is also something I kind of struggle with. But I gotta leave something for future me to do, right? What am I doing? Put the pencil down. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you drew if you drew along, and I hope you all have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye!